then this one here 3 times. So there's more active buying going on up in here, making this a little bit more bullish. So what can we deduce from that, if you will, or what can we think about from that? And this comes from Roman as well, which is really useful. And that is that we probably are not going to see as strong a reaction on B as we did on A. So what does that mean? Well, it might come down to the halfway point here. Could come all the way down, but it might hold a higher low, right? Or it might hold it halfway. Or looking at the daily chart here, we're in a spring position, right? We have strong sign of strength going up, right? Good volume picking up to the upside, nice spreads going up, good break of this level here. This blue line here is the same as on the weekly, right? So we just don't see this level here, but this goes back to that level. But yeah, you can certainly see on the weekly strength coming in to the upside. So we have a sign of strength here, and we're in a spring position. Now we've got a little bit more supply than I'd like to see here, so we may go back and forth on this, and this is going a little bit deeper than this one here, right? And we do see some supply coming into the downside. So we might not spring this, and we may come down here instead, or we may just, we could spring this. If we do spring it, I'd like to see some really good strength coming in, and then a test after that, and that would give me the confirmation that indeed we are seeing a less robust reaction off of the weekly, and the daily is showing us a spring, which for those of you who don't know what a spring is, let me just do a quick explanation. They're wonderful in this kind of an environment where you got that strength coming up. But anyway, we make a swing high up here. We'll call this swing high A, right? And we make a swing low down here. We call this a B, this leg down B, right? And then we try to make a new swing high. We call this C. And it does go up above the high here. It may close up above. That shows a little bit more strength than not. But notice that it doesn't close here, and that is a stronger upthrust, if you will. And so this is actually an upthrust here, which is the reverse of a spring. But now on the, I'm sorry, we make a swing. We make a swing low. That's what we do. I got it confused. So we make a swing low. Forget this. Let me erase it and start from fresh. So we have some strength coming in. We get a reaction. We have a swing low on that reaction. That's our A leg. Now we rally up, and in this case, we make a new high. We don't have to, but we rally up and we make a B leg. And now we come back to the swing low at A, and we go underneath of it. And again, we're not closing underneath, which is, or maybe this is slightly underneath, but this is showing some strength. And most likely on Monday, what we're going to see is, if this is a good solid spring, the market will rally up and close above the low of swing of the swing low at A. That's a spring. In other words, going underneath the low at the swing low at A, failing to continue to go down, failing to follow through to the downside, and instead closing up. So that's what we would be looking for. Let's see. Do I have any more markets to go through? Oh, just the S&Ps, right? And I think I think we basically talked about that earlier. Let me just do the S&Ps and then I'll get to questions. So on the weekly, we're getting pretty high in the trend channel. We do see some narrowing of range here on volume. So there was some effort to rally up, and we didn't go very far. And we know why. Sellers stepped in here, and we do have an upthrust. So an up thrust is the opposite of the spring, right? We rally up and make a swing high, and then we react, and now we come back up to that swing high, and we can't go through it. We can't follow through to the upside, and that's what we call an up thrust. Now, usually an up thrust will take out the swing low here, but we've got a lot of strength going on. I didn't show this, the daily chart and the move up, but take a look at that. That's a big move to the upside, and we're basically holding gains up in here. So I'd be looking for support to hold in here. If that breaks, then probably down into here. This might turn into a spring, who knows? Or we might hold a higher low in here, but I think this support looks pretty good around 60. I think it's around 70, 65, 70, or so, 68. That looks pretty good. I would be looking for opportunities in here to develop. Okay, let me get to some questions. And just before I do, this is my big sales pitch here. All of our videos are on sale here at 50% off. When you go to check out, use this code TPE. It stands for Trading Psychology Edge 50, and it'll run through the 6th of December. It does not include the Weiss wave. We don't own that. That was David's. Now his widow, his wife, owns it, Karen, and we can't discount that. We don't discount deep practice. This is what we do every Thursday night, by the way, for anybody who's interested. It's fairly inexpensive. It's about $125 or $130 a month, and we meet 4 times a week and go through the daily analysis, like I showed you on crude and S&Ps, and then we drill down to the next lower time frame, which is the 240-minute, develop a game plan for the next day, and then look at trading. We're trading historic data, but then we're going bar by bar, making trades, talking about psychology, talking about supply and demand and what we see in the market, and where we made a mistake and why did we make that mistake? How can we correct it for the next time? Stuff like that. It's very useful. Thursday nights, everything's recorded as well. And the other thing we don't discount is the winning trades procedures. So with that, let's get some questions done here. Does Weiss wave also work on Thinkorswim and NinjaTrader, which I use? I think it works on Ninja. I don't know if it works on Thinkorswim. Check our website and see if, I think NinjaTrader is listed. I'm pretty sure it does. It's a very useful indicator. 4 times a week, 4 times a month, not a week. Thank you, Henri. Yeah, I get tripping over my words sometimes. The deep practice meets 4 times a month on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern time. What platforms does Weiss wave work on? Well, Deepak, we do this for the these are the tools that we use. No one, I'm not a software engineer, and I'm not making up software to sell, and neither was David. We're just giving you making available what we use. So TradeStation is certainly available. I think MT4, multi-charts, Metastock, and I think NinjaTrader as well. And that's about it. Is that what you were speaking of about Roman? What's that? I'm not sure what you mean. Your tweet the other day on S&Ps has different color rectangles. Could you speak on how? No, I'm not going to do that, where those rectangles go and where the color differences mean. I'm still working that out, so I don't really want to give that. I don't really want to talk about that. Do you change your Weiss wave settings on each time frame? Oh, that's a good question, Hamid. Yeah, you would. And I don't, but the thing is, I don't use them on the larger time frames. I don't really use the Weiss wave on the larger time frames. I like the individual volume bars. But if I would use the same setting on the 5 and the 15 minute and the 1 minute. I think all of those I'd still use the same I might bump it up to like 2 minutes on an hourly chart. And on a daily chart, I might do 4 or 5 minutes. I'd have to think about it. And I'm not sure what I do on a weekly, but yeah, you would change it around. And what I would suggest is, try it out for yourself. There's no set number. There's no magical number here. It's just like on the S&Ps intraday, I use 3/4 of a point. There's no reason you couldn't use a point if you wanted to, or a 1.5. That's just the convention I use. But so try different things and see what works for you. How do you decide? Let's see. Daily or weekly charts if Bitcoin are pretty useless or have similar weight as market. Yeah, okay. It sprung up on Bitcoin. Are there downsprings? Those are upthrusts. Okay. What is your anchor chart? I'm not sure what an anchor chart is. If you explain that, if you tell me what that means, I can try to address that. Is there an archive of prior deep practices? If I subscribe or automatic new subscriber, yeah, in the archive. Does WiseWave also work on Thinkorswim? We addressed that. What's the reason you don't use Wyckoff on larger time frame? Because I like the individual price bars, volume bars. Thank you for, okay, you're welcome. I'm happy to do that. What's the best time frame to use for trade execution? 2 minute, 3 minute, or 5 minute? I use 5 minute. Occasionally, I'll look at a 1 minute chart if I have just for entry or exit. I'm looking for a fine, if it's a little confusing or a little, if the 5 minute isn't giving me a good sense of what's going on, I might turn to the 1 minute for an entry, but that's pretty rare. Zigzag cumulative volume is an alternative to WiseWave. What was the was this webinar recorded? Yes, it will. It has been recorded. We'll post it in the next 24 or 48 hours. It usually takes us a little bit to get it done, especially on a weekend when we're trying to do other things. All right, so I took you over a little bit too much time. I apologize for that. Hope you got something out of this webinar. Please take advantage of the 50% off. There's some, we've done some pretty good work. And if you're interested at all in deep practice, come join us. We have people there from all over the world, all over the globe. Some people, you'll see what's really possible in trading. We have some folks who are dynamite traders, really, really, really good intraday traders, and you'll see them trade and you start to learn from them. And I've had several people tell me that there are a couple of folks who are quite good in deep practice, and they have sent me emails and said, boy, that fellow, I'll just leave his name out, but X is I've learned so much. It's so great to have that. So that's kind of a nice way to do it. And you're not in the middle of the live market, so you're not worried about making, money and all of that stuff. It's a good educational environment. Novices as well as experts, everybody's welcome. And there's nothing held back. Everything is explained. There's no secret information. It's all available. We tell it all. Do you ever scalp? No, I don't bother. Is there a chat with deep practice or just the weekly events? Yeah. Okay, everyone. Thank you very much. Have a great holiday if you're in the US and or Canada. And I think Canada probably already had Thanksgiving, but ours is coming up. So have a great holiday if you partake in it. And have great trading, and I hope to see you in deep practice. All right, everybody, thanks again for coming in. Take care now. Bye-bye.